How's it going? Just want to give a housing update from this week's meeting. We have some positives on the table at the moment. It's always interesting to see the journey of a development and when it gets to that point where it's ready to go. So we have across the board, we have in Kilmac, Jameson Heights is pretty much done and dusted. The people who are moving in there have already got their letters of offer. A long time coming for many of them, so very positive news for them. Kilbride Lane in Bray is getting there. We can see it's taking shape. Hopefully by the end of the year that'll also be up and running. We have work should hopefully again start in Ardnagrana this year for a new set of houses there, and we expect a plan to come to council for debate with an extension onto the Cedar Court development in Bray as well. So there are some positives out there, and yeah, it's important to recognise that, but at the same time we should counterbalance that with the reality out there where there are people who are still in overcrowded housing situations. There are people still in emergency accommodation. There are people with outrageous rents that they're trying to manage week after week. People in scenarios where with the eviction ban being lifted, that there's the cloud of potential notice to quit hovering over their heads, where landlords want the house back, they want to sell it, or they have other ideas for it, which is very stressful on families. And of course we have people who are rough sleeping in the town, who are at the very acute end of housing distress. So there are people in precarious housing situations that we have to maintain a focus on, while at the same time supporting the rollout of new developments. One interesting piece that came up at the council as well was in terms of when the council is developing an estate and it encroaches because of the separation of land, that there's an encroachment on another housing estate. There's a lot of learning about in that regard that has come to the fore in a situation here in Bray, where it's so important that the community are involved in a communication channel that is facilitated by the council and those who are operating on behalf of the council in terms of the development, because in the absence of that you get kind of discomfort. It's already tough to live beside a building site for a period of years, but to kind of add to that a stress around builders using what was previously a cul-de-sac now as a delivery channel for cement trucks, for materials, and to not do that in a way that is smooth and comfortable for residents creates unnecessary stress and tension and ultimately conflict. And I suppose as well another added dimension to that is when there is a new element added on to an existing development, where again what was a cul-de-sac is now opened up to some new housing. It's so important to really take a proactive and positive approach to how that integrates, and how there's a softening of the integration of a new piece of work into an existing space. And like, as much as that's about the kind of the optics of that, it's also about how important it is that the integrity of a space is maintained, and that people who live there and are impacted by the change are part of that in a very sincere way. And yeah, that's more work for councils, but it's work that we have to take seriously, and that we have to commit to. So that's the housing report for this week. Talk to you all soon.